Welcome to NCC Sports Live. We're going to get right into it. We're going to debate the big matchup in the finals between the Boston Celtics and the Los Angeles Lakers. Just wrapped up last night with the Lakers taking it. And we're going to bring in our NBA analyst, Jake Donnelly, to tell us a little more about that from both sides of the equation.
Yeah, thank you very much, John. The big thing that I noticed last night was as the game wore on, first quarter won by the Celtics, up by 9 after the first quarter, but then the rest of the game, Celtics just kind of kept letting it get away from them little by little, and then the Lakers started playing harder. And the big reason for that, John, was Ron Artest. He came in and he did a great job, continued playing defense on Paul Pierce and really shut him down, never let him get into the flow. And it was a game when Kobe Bryant pretty much had nothing going for him.
And we're going to jump right back to Ron Artest really quickly. Now, remember what Ron Artest did after last season. The Lakers beat his Rockets in the playoffs, and Artest left, took a pay cut to join the Lakers, saying he specifically just wants to win a title. And that's exactly what happened. So, Jake, you can't help but feel good for Ron Artest because he set out on a mission, and he did it. And as you said, he was the deciding factor in Game 7.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to be perfectly honest. It was one of those people where I don't have a lot of respect for Ron Artest, or at least I didn't have a lot of respect for Ron Artest. I do now. He came in, and you could tell the two guys on the court that wanted that the most were actually the two craziest guys on the court, Ron Artest and Kevin Garnett. At one point, Garnett was 7 of 12 from the field, but Ron Artest had his best game of the season and postseason so far. He had 25 points, 5 rebounds, and big 5 steals. And John, it just seemed like every single thing he did last night was good. He didn't have a bad play.
And it seemed like it was by design, Jake. You know, the Celtics came in here and they wanted to just shut down Kobe Bryant. So every time he touched the ball, you saw double teams, even triple teams at times. So what did the Celtics do? They said, Ron Artest, you're going to have to beat us. And that's exactly what he did. He started hitting threes after missing a few early in the game and ended up with those 20 points you talked about. And it was more about outside of the box score stuff. Yeah, he had 5 huge steals, but it was how he defended and how he made the big shots when the opportunity was presented to him.
Yeah, he changed the entire complexion of the game, coming out, bringing a lot of intensity in a game when Kobe Bryant really had nothing going for him. He was 6 for 24 from the field, and that was pretty much all he had. He had 15 rebounds, but 9 of those came on the defensive end. It was because he was playing defense on Rajon Rondo, who for the most part was non-existent. The speedy, quick point guard for the Celtics really didn't have his best game when they needed it most with Kendrick Perkins out. And I thought for the most part that the Celtics just didn't have that intensity that Perk usually brings to the game, and the Lakers did because of Ron Artest. And it was a big game because Derek Fisher was out for a while until he came back in the fourth with a big shot.
Yeah, and you talk about feeling good for Ron Artest. On the same token, you feel bad for Kendrick Perkins. I mean, the guy tears up his meniscus in his knee, you know, in Game 6, so he couldn't play in Game 7. And in the first quarter, the guy's jumping off the bench trying to motivate his team. So Ron Artest for the Lakers playing as hard as he could, fulfilling his promise that he made to win a championship and take the pay cut. And then Kendrick Perkins on the other side, young, just 25 years old, but couldn't play in Game 7 because of that injury, but he wanted it just as bad as Artest did, and you can't help but to feel bad for the guy.
Yeah, and the Celtics really did miss Kendrick Perkins on the inside, and everybody's been mentioning it. The team that won the rebounding battle won every single game of the series. And just like the previous 6 games, the Game 7 winner of the rebounding battle, the Lakers, won Game 7, and they did it for the most part on the offensive end. In the first quarter, they had 14 offensive rebounds. I remember watching the game last night. When I said 14 rebounds, they thought I meant in total. No, it was all on the offensive end, and I'm sure you remember that moment as well.
Absolutely, and it was in limited opportunity because if you remember, Paul Gasol, the Lakers big man, actually had 2 fouls with about 4.5 minutes left in the first quarter. So that's a 7-footer who's not in the game, and yet the Lakers still were able to dominate the boards on the offensive end, even without their 7-footer. So, as you said, Kendrick Perkins was a huge loss emotionally and physically for the Celtics. We're just getting started here on NCC Sports Live. After the break, we're going to come back and break down the rest of the series as well as a preview on what's ahead in NBA free agency. Stay with us.